Good morning. This is Jen.
And I'm Lisa. We're the Florida Property Girls team at Mainframe Real Estate. Today we are going to go over a few topics that buyers have questions about. There's some of the most common, and we felt it would be perfect timing because we are in March Madness right now. The market's crazy. We have a lot of buyers out. So if you're thinking about purchasing, this information that we're going to give may help you out. First thing we're going to talk about is what is an escrow deposit. The escrow deposit, you may have also heard, it's also called the good faith deposit or also earnest money. And so once your offer has been accepted and you have a signed contract, then that is when your escrow deposit will be due. Now you determine the amount of your good faith deposit when you put in your offer. The more your good faith deposit, the stronger it is to the seller, because that seller is making sure you're a committed buyer, because they're going to be taking their house off the market. So where does this money go? This money is held in a non-interest bearing account, and it goes towards your down payment at closing.
Yes.
Now your good faith deposit is protected against certain contingencies in your contract. However, if you just decide at some point after your inspection contingency is up that you just don't want to purchase a house anymore, you just changed your mind, you're going to continue renting or whatever the case may be, the seller has the right to keep that good faith deposit.
And if there are any financing contingencies, then after that financing contingency also.
Yeah.
And,
so speaking of closing costs,
there are certain closing costs that I'm going to cover. I'm not going to cover all of them, but just to let you know, there are closing costs that are associated with each and every deal, every closing. Whether you're a seller or a buyer, you have closing costs on both ends. Some of the fees that are associated with the closing, appraisal fees. Now, those appraisal fees, they are usually paid outside of, I don't want to say outside of closing, but they're paid ahead of time because the appraiser has to be paid at the time of the service. Some of the other closing costs, surveys, credit report fees, if your bank charges any origination fees, the title company that does the closing, they do searches and they do lien searches, municipal lien searches. They have fees that they charge. Title insurance, that is also a fee. So there's recording fees, there's government taxes. So those are all associated with what we call closing cost. Now, some of the other fees associated, which are called prepaids, you may have heard of what prepaids are. They're not necessarily closing cost, but they are prepaids. Those are homeowners insurance as well as property taxes to be placed in your escrow. So how do you know how much to estimate? I usually say that, and the mortgage companies usually say between 2 and 4.5%. Are your closing costs the same as your down payment? No. So you need to make sure you budget enough for your down payment and your closing cost. Talk to your lenders. They will go over these fees and give you an estimation, but just communicate with your lenders on these numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a lot of questions about what's the difference between closing costs and down payment, and a lot of people don't realize how much they have to bring to the table when they close.
Sure.
They don't realize there's a closing cost and a down payment. So make sure you know all the fees involved when you start your purchase process. So talking to a lender is going to be a really good idea when you start.
The best people is to have a realtor and your lender communicating together so that you can put together the whole package.
That is true. And another thing we're going to go over today is our cookie contest winner. So we had a contest back in the end of the year last year, and we still have pictures that have been coming in of the different cookies that people created, but we have one in particular.
It was amazing.
We were shocked when it came through. I thought that they ordered the cookie from somewhere. Yeah. And they actually used, when you're looking at this photo here, they actually used the edible sugar sheets.
Sugar edible sheets.
So where you see us on this cookie, that's actually edible. So we thought that was
So
really cool.
congratulations, Scott, Polk, and Kat.
Thank you so much for everyone that participated. Your pictures were adorable. We had a lot through Christmas. The kids were making all the cookies. Thank you all for participating. We will have another one this year. If you want one of our cookie cutters, let us know. Comment below. We'll send you one in the mail, and you can be one of our next winners.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And if you have any questions on the process, whether you're purchasing or selling, please feel free to give us a call. You can comment below, ask some questions, and we'll cover it in one of our next episodes, or we'll just message you and try to answer all your questions, because it can be, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot more detail that we didn't go into. We just kind of covered the outer surface of these questions. So everyone have a great day, and we will see you next week. Cheers.